Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Everything, etc. I'm your host, Shaman Shan. It's a pleasure to have you listening today. Today, we're talking about all things relating to challenges in faith, joined by Atena. Atena, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing great, thank you.
Atena, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so cool.
I'm hyped.
And it's so fitting for you.
Thank you. I feel like I say that for everyone, but it's a pleasure to have everyone on the show. It's good fun.
Thank you for having me.
So, Atena, you're a second year nursing student.
Yes.
We do nursing together. In your spare time, you enjoy content creation,
Yes.
reading, going outside, and something we both have in common, really deep conversations with people.
Oh, they're my favorite thing. Like,
Yeah.
I could talk for hours.
I thought we'd calm the mood a bit and play a little game.
Sure.
Now, for people not listening, at uni, Atena, myself, and a few other nursing friends, we have a little group.
Yes.
For some absurd reason, this group is called the Veggies. Like
I'm not
a
the
veggie.
reason.
I don't who's I actually have no idea. It just came about one time. We call ourselves the Veggies. So this game is a veggie related game. It's called the Veggie Association game.
Right.
Yes, and here I have 6 celebrities or characters from any media that I'm just going to tell you, and you can associate them with some sort of vegetable or fruit, whichever one you think they might be.
That's so funny.
So the first one is, if you could associate a veggie or a fruit to Robert Downey Jr., what would he be?
Ooh. I feel like he's very iconic. I am personally a Marvel fan.
Yes,
And likewise, he's gone through so much.
he has.
And to see where he is now, like that, the strength in that, I truly admire. So I think, what is something that I'd say a lot of people like him.
Yeah.
But if they don't, it's kind of like a love or hate sort of person.
Yeah.
Might be controversial, but that's just my opinion.
No, I agree with you saying that he's a very strong person. I
Yeah.
completely idolize RDJ. If I got to meet him one day, that'd be the day of my
that'd
life.
be so
He's such an inspirational person. He's so cool.
Yeah, you have to find it.
Yeah, RDJ, if you're listening, please hit me up. We'll interview you on the podcast.
Yes.
It would be
Can you
it would be a pleasure.
I mean, I'm sure you could. So, if there's a will, there's
man.
a way.
Yeah, it would be a pleasure. I may feign during the interview. It's all good.
Yes. If you can find it on YouTube and just cut it in, it's Robert Downey Jr.
Oh yeah, Tom Holland thing. It's Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Oh my, Tom Holland also the coolest guy out there. Oh, okay, he's so cool.
Yes, love him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what fruit would RDJ be?
Fruit
Yeah, or vegetable.
veggie? Ooh, maybe. I don't know why the first thing that came to mind is potato.
Potato.
Yeah.
Okay, RDJ is a potato because he's a strong person.
Yeah.
He can be found in various many forms.
Yes.
Yes. Oh,
Potatoes
that
are the
because
best.
potatoes, mashed potatoes, French fries.
Yes.
KFC French fries, Macca's French fries, very different.
Yes.
Look at that. That's actually I agree with that. Yeah. The second one is, if you could pick a veggie or a fruit for SpongeBob, what would it be?
Veggie or fruit? Ooh. Like a star fruit's yellow.
I don't even know what a star fruit is, but
Essential.
go for it. Go for it.
We'll search up what.
But is Starfruit more SpongeBob or more Patrick?
Ooh, don't ask me that.
Because Patrick's like the star, right?
That is true. Star fruit. Did I just make that up? Who knows?
Is that a thing? I actually have no idea.
Oh,
It is.
It is.
How's it look like? Oh, what? That's actually really cool.
That is more
Carambola.
Patrick now. Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you think that'd be SpongeBob?
No.
Because that's
I
not
feel
Patrick, right?
it is. You're very right. Banana.
Banana. I
I'm
think
gonna-
banana's fair.
Yeah, banana.
It's yellow.
Yeah.
What else can you say? The next one's a bit of an interesting one. We have Danny DeVito. What would he be?
An eggplant.
An eggplant?
Yeah.
I was going to say grape. Because
Great minds.
of him in Hercules. His character he plays in Hercules, a little guy.
Sure.
He reminds me of grape. But eggplant, Danny DeVito. There you go. Danny, if you're listening, eggplant. There you go.
Yeah. Do you want to come on the podcast after hearing that?
Hopefully you do. The next one is, this one's actually a bit interesting too.
Mm-hmm.
It's the amazing orange, but you can't pick an orange.
Ooh.
Also, for people who don't know, the Amazing Orange is like a YouTube
Is
kind
that
of
the
video.
upside down mouth with the orange?
Yeah, it's like an orange with a face edited on it. It was really big back maybe 10 years ago. Maybe not everyone knows about it, but
I do, because I didn't like it.
So-
I don't know. I just
You're gonna give him a yucky fruit then,
yucky fruit. I didn't like it because it was a little bit unsettling.
right? Because
like-
it's like human eyes and a mouth on
Yeah,
an orange.
and I think the teeth were like
Real
a little
teeth.
bit discolored,
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't know. I might just be too judgmental, but
So what would he be
I'm
though?
hard to judge. Other than an orange, you know what? I'm gonna say a lemon.
A lemon. Oh, because he's sour.
Yeah.
I get
yeah.
the lemon. Okay, next one is Scooby Doo.
Wow. Okay. An unripened banana. No, a fully ripened banana.
Actually, I reckon that makes sense
Yeah.
with his dots. Scooby Doo is
Yeah.
dots, right?
Yeah.
And Scooby Doo is an unripened banana. There you go.
Or unripened is like too far yellowy green. So I think
Oh, it's fully
I
ripe.
said it. Yeah, I said it the wrong way around the first time.
Wait. Oh yes, 'cause
Yes,
unripened
so
is like
too ripened.
so it's very ripe. It's like when
Yeah.
it's like spotty and squishy.
Yeah,
Ugh, that's kind of
yeah.
yucky. But Scooby Doo, there you go. The last one is Will Smith. What would Will Smith be?
I don't know. He used to be icon.
Will Smith, I still love you. I think you're amazing.
He is, but
Maybe not what happened at the Oscars, but Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, one of my
Oh,
favorite
yeah,
shows of all
yeah.
time.
Okay, we'll look at his thriving
Mhm.
era. I first thought of a fish because of Shark Tales, but
Oh.
that's not neither a fruit nor a
Yeah,
vegetable.
unfortunately.
I'm really trying to not just say carrot or gonna say peas
Why peas?
because there's multiple of it, and I feel like as an actor and a successful one, because regardless of if you like him or not, he
Is successful.
he is
Yeah.
successful, and he's taken on many personas. So I think maybe that each
Each
little
pea is
grape-
a different
yeah.
persona.
Grape,
We got
right?
French
So
Prince of
grape.
Bel-Air. We got, what's another thing he's in? Gemini Man.
Yeah.
Gemini Man, there's two of them in it. There you go.
Shark Tales.
Shark Tales. What else is Will Smith in?
Shark Tales.
I don't even know. There we go, Will Smith, we love you.
Men in Black.
Men in Black. All the different
Duh.
Men in Blacks. There you go.
Yeah.
It's actually set.
You know what? In addition to that, I'm also gonna say grape.
Grape.
Yeah.
Because of Men in Black.
Just the vibes.
Actually, no,
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon
like
grape
a
might be a
purple
bit.
grape.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's Will Smith vibes.
Yeah.
Will
And
Smith, you're a
also
grape.
a pea.
That's a compliment, by the way. A grape and a pea. Atina, you also have a content creation hobby. Can you
Yes.
tell us a bit about that?
So it all started in 2020. So we're looking at kind of pre or sort of during of the quarantine time, and as one does, we all have a hobby that we got bored and we're like, oh damn, I'm actually pretty good at this. For me, that was makeup, and I'm a very, very feminine girl, and I love being artistic. Like growing up, loved to draw, sketch, paint, even. So to take it to another level, I was like, testing the waters as a 14, 15-year-old with makeup, and I was like, damn, this is so fun. Ordered my first eyeshadow palette, and I was like, damn, the colours and the makeup looks, and I was so into it. And my mum had a proper like Canon camera that was took
Oh, really?
really great photos, and I was like, you know what, I might just start posting this on Instagram, and I created another account, which currently it's known as Beauty with Atena.
Give that a follow, everyone. Great account.
However, it was previously and then known as Makeup by Atena. And I loved it so much that I was like, you know what, I might want to do freelancing in makeup. Spoiler alert, I didn't actually get to do that because I'm a very academic person and unfortunately didn't find the time to. However, so taking that on board, I signed up for a Certificate 3 in Beauty Services through TAFE, and I absolutely loved it. Like it was, I did it once a week.
Was this during school?
Yes, during school, and it was so fun. I met so many creative people. Some of them have gone off to do amazing creative things, and for me, it was more so to just, you know, get it towards my QCE points and things. So I was like,
it's your passion though, right? It's a good thing to do.
And I was like, at the time, for me, I was like, you know, I might as well just do something that's just fun. Because in school it was, you know, I'm sure you can relate as well, but really trying to take the most difficult classes so you can do better in grade 11 and 12. So I think that was really my approach, to just have something that I can enjoy and potentially take it to another level. And well, life happened as well, so it didn't really go ahead as the freelance side of things, and I actually ended up finishing, or kind of cutting my certificate off shorter, but I'm like by trade, like an actual makeup artist.
That's pretty cool though. That's like something cool you can tell people.
It is, yeah. And for me, makeup isn't just a source of creativity, but it's so fun. Like it's not that I'm not necessarily happy with the way I look. I mean, sometimes when I'm getting ready for uni at 5 a.m. because it takes so long to get in, it is more so to just hide the like under eye bags. However, it's a form of self-care, which I really, really enjoy. You know, not necessarily taking my time on it every single day, but it's a form of self-care in the morning that's become part of my routine, that I'm like, you know, I just like looking a little bit brighter, and it makes me feel more confident and more productive as well, whatever the science is behind that. So I've taken that account from majority makeup content to now beauty. I'm also, I guess, rebranded in 2023 when I first downloaded TikTok, because I was at first very like anti-TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm gonna get addicted to it, and trust me, we all do the doom scrolls. I feel like we're in that very in-between era. So also, I love a tangent. I wonder what it's going to be like for our future children. Like,
yeah, that's actually, I think about that a lot. Like, how in like raising them, how does that work? Because now it's like the iPad kid culture. Even like a few years ago, it was like kind of a joke. It's a real thing. Like, iPad to raise kids, right? Like, when are you gonna give your kids a phone? Like stuff like that. Like, it's an important thing to consider.
Question.
Yes.
I'm interviewing you now. How old were you when you got your first phone or iPad, tablet?
I was catching the bus in grade 5 and 6. So I had a Nokia, like a little big phone. I could play Snake on it.
Yes.
And I had to like press the button 3 times. It took me like forever to send a text. That was my first one. Then
to get the letters.
Yeah, it was so weird. Grade 7, I had an iPhone 3, but it was so slow I couldn't play any games on it. And it's not like I had YouTube or anything on it. And then later that year, I got a Samsung something. And then, so you could say grade 7 was my first year I had a phone. Yeah.
I'd say for me it was kind of similar time. Like, my brother and I have an older brother. We grew up sharing a lot of things. And I remember we shared a tablet when we were probably between the ages, for me, because he's 2 years older than me, I was probably about 8 or 9, and it had, you know, the classics, you know, on it.
Minecraft, Fruit Ninja.
Yes, well, I mean, we didn't have Minecraft because we couldn't pay for it.
Oh,
yes.
It's a great game though, I gotta say.
I have it now, so.
Yeah, great.
For my younger self, I had to do it. But yeah, like the Minion Rush, any sort of Rush game.
Yes. Oh, Minion Rush is such a good game. I remember that. That was so much fun.
Yeah. And Papa's
Pizzeria. Oh, this is so nostalgic, Atena. This is great.
We love the nostalgia.
Yeah.
I grew up in East Europe, in Hungary, and I feel like back then, my grandparents really knew everyone. So, you know.
So were you in like a small-ish town?
Oh yes, Hungary is tiny. Like, I'm sure, like maybe 85% of people are like hungry? Like, do you want some food?
I may be one of those 85%.
No, it's okay. So, Hungary is a very, very small, landlocked country in literally like Central Europe, or more so Eastern on the maps. It's next to Austria, Serbia, Ukraine, very that sort of area. And the population is about less than 10 million, about 8 or 9 million.
So it's pretty small.
Very small.
So everyone's kind of confined to like small towns, but like everyone knows everyone. That type
But yeah, on that street, like, we spent so much time there, and the memories that I have from that, I truly, truly love, and I'm so thankful to have such a great memory. Like, I can still, fondly remember so much.
That's so good, though. I feel like having those memories of going out and doing something as kids is like infinitely better than sitting on an iPad at home. Yeah. Okay, Atena, you and me have both talked a lot how our previous like trials and tribulations have influenced our path in life. Do you think that this is faith, or is it our choice? This is a pretty deep question, so we're getting straight into it.
Like I said in the beginning of the episode, these are my type of questions, what my partner would call an Atena question. I think it's a bit of both, and that's not just me being a fence sitter or unable to make a decision, but I truly, truly think that there is a path that was already meant for us, and sometimes it just it's so blatantly obvious that it's staring you in the face that this is the way you should go, and it feels like something out of a movie, and I pride myself on having a gifted intuition, and I'm also a very anxious person, and it might be like, oh, well, how can you tell the difference between the two? There's such a big difference. Like, when I'm anxious, I'm thinking about the what ifs, just tumbling down a really big rabbit hole of potential things that could happen.
Like overthinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Literally overthinking all the time. Whereas when I trust my intuition and I get a gut feeling, it's a feeling like no other, and it doesn't compare to anxiety at all. It's so certain, and it feels to some extent comforting, like it feels stable. Whereas when you're overthinking and you're anxious, you're very like, even physically very like what's the word, like fidgety, very fidgety, very you can't really sit still, whereas when it's it's meant by fate, I feel like that's when that intuition plays a part of like, hey, this is the track that I'm supposed to be on,
and you feel kind of confident about it.
So going back to your question, I might quickly just, because I know I said I wasn't gonna write out too much, but
no, go for it.
So our paths truly shape us, and it's really like, yes, you have free choice and free will of what your life is going to look like, and there's so much power in that. However, going back to the intuition, it's very like, you just feel it, and and obviously sometimes that intuition isn't always for positive reasons. Like, what I mean by that is, like, you might think that it's best for you, and it is, and then turns out to be something that directs you onto another path that had to have happened so that you end up there, because who knows, maybe that was the only way for you to get back out there.
So what, you made like the choice to take the step forward, but fate pushed you into that new path. Yes. Oh, I see what you mean.
So I feel like they work truly well hand in hand. That yes, we do have choices, however I feel like it's a little bit deeper than that. It goes fully into, like, we have, like I said, set path that we are meant to experience. And I feel like our choices lead up back onto that path that is meant for you, that will bring you joy, experience, education, you know?
Yeah.
So that's where
I agree.
stand on that.
I don't think one or the other is set in stone. I think the way you've described it of the hand in hand is insightful. I think it makes more sense to describe it that way because when we attribute full, when we attribute it to just choice or just faith, you run into issues like, what if I want to make a choice? You can't. It's faith. What if this happened? I didn't like it happened. Oh, but it was your choice. You know what I mean? Like it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
So I agree wholeheartedly. It was a very good response, Tina.
Thank you.
But continuing on with this concept of our path in life and what role faith plays in our path in life, there's going to be a lot of changes. Do you think we should embrace this change or challenge it?
I think that we should embrace change, but challenge it at the same time. Again, being back on the fence aside, within reason though. Because let's say you only challenge it. Your mentality is not necessarily going to start off with being positive. Because
you're a bit skeptical.
Yeah.
Egotistical.
Yeah, like you, or maybe I personally would, I'd be like, damn, like, why did this happen to me? Like, why did I not get whatever it might have been that I wanted for the first time? Like, and I'm like working myself up into it. Whereas if I were to embrace it first and be like, you know what, this sucks that I didn't get what I wanted. However, so that I can better myself, I'm going to challenge it. I'm going to move forward with a better mindset. And obviously, I'm only saying this now, and it's so much easier said than done. But if you embrace it first, whether or not it's caused you happiness or made you upset, I feel like either or could bring you motivation to challenge it and be like, you know what, this is going to make me better regardless. If I get what I want the first time and I'm like, this is amazing, I will now challenge it to push myself forward and further on like, okay, how can I get a higher GPA, or that, I don't know if it really makes sense, but what I'm trying to say is,
I kind of understand, like, if you embrace it too much, you become like a backseat driver, like you're in the backseat watching everything happen to you. If you challenge it, you can sometimes push things away that were meant for you. You have to sit in there in between, and I don't know, it kind of feels like you're talking like a roller coaster, like, but not, maybe a roller coaster, like you made the choice to get on a roller coaster, and you see where it goes. Yeah. And you just embrace what's happening as you go through it, like you're not scared, you're just having fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because if we embrace it, and again, just piggybacking off what you were saying, my opinion on embracing change is, yes, like, this is great. However, not everything that changes is in your control. A lot of time it is outside of your control, whether that's environmental factors or literally anything in life. And embracing it will make you realize, like, you know what, this is either in or outside of my control. And whether or not it is in your control, you can still challenge it. But if it's outside of your control, then it's even better to challenge it, because then you can sort of hone it back and, I guess, gain control again and really lead it to where you want it to be.
So when it's outside of your control, you reckon it's better to challenge it because you can kind of get like a better perception of the problem.
Yeah.
Instead of just letting it happen to you, you're like, okay, what is happening? Why is this happening? Is there anything I can do? Instead of just saying, oh, it's out of my control. Blah, it's happened to me. Yes.
Yeah. I really hope I'm making sense. But yes, I think we should embrace it first and then see ways we can challenge it. Because change is inevitable, and mostly focusing on success, because we all want to be successful and happy in life. You need to change, because imagine a tree. Imagine if a tree was a little twig growing out of the ground, and if it was like, you know what, I'm not gonna drop my my bark, I'm not gonna grow any new leaves because I'm comfortable where I am. You know, I'm shaded by a larger tree, but then you realize later down, that tree realizes later down the track, you know what? I want to be as tall as everyone. I want to be able to see eye to eye and be on the same level as other successful, abundant, lush trees around me. And that's when you challenge it, and that's when it's like, you know, I need to change something. I'm gonna start letting go of my old ways, so releasing those little barks, and then growing up further upwards towards the sky. I'm gonna drop my leaves every now and then so I can grow new ones. So that's what I sort of mean by embracing it first. You know, sometimes you get comfortable, and it's great because we all want to just, you know, not have to worry about how we can move forward. But whether or not you like it, life will take you by surprise. And like, it's, again, some things and most things are, I would argue, outside of your control in terms of what happens to you. Because even if you have a set goal and a set plan and you've thought of A to F ways that you can have so many plans of doing something, it's still not up to you. If you lose your house to a flood, you know, that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah. From what I'm understanding from what you're saying is that for us to like be an active player in our own lives, we can't just let change happen to us, and we can't stop change from happening to us.
Yes.
We need to be able to see what change is happening and accept it, but with a sauce of, like, with this hint of skepticism, be like, okay, what's going to happen? Well, when change also happens to us, we also need to be able to say, wait, why is this happening?
Yes.
And that's the balance between embracing change and challenging it.
Yes.
That's really profound, actually. Yeah, it's good. That's a very good response.
I like that I just throw out like a brainstorming of ideas, and then you just put it into words. So I like
there we go.
that dynamic.
It's a pretty good duo, right?
Thank you.
Atena, we've talked about your resolve a lot this episode. Do you think there's a character in a piece of fiction that symbolizes your resolve well?
This guy.
Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Zuko, yes. Now, I haven't watched Avatar: The Last Airbender since I was very young. So I honestly cannot remember if this guy is a protagonist or an antagonist.
I think he starts off as I think he becomes a protagonist, but he kind of starts off as an antagonist.
But whether or not, like, so regardless of his sort of character, I relate to his story more. And I did do a little bit of research to really see like who is a character that I can like actually like kind of relate to. So I narrowed it down to 3 points that I'm going to read out because I like my notes, so I don't ramble. So loss and trauma. So he lost his mother and suffered emotional and physical abuse from his father, similar to what I've experienced in my life. He was alienated, exiled from his home, and cut off from his family, much like what I've been through the past couple of years of my life. However, his resilience and self-discovery is what sort of brought him back. So he broke free from toxic expectations, built his own support system, and chose his own path, reflecting my strength and leaving certain environments such as my family home, and moving out of that environment and no longer like reverting back to old ways and sort of starting a new life. So I think that's where I sort of relate to him.
Yeah. So his resilience, his dedication, his ability to move forward, that's what you think like depicts your resolve accurately.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
From what you've told me and from what we've discussed in the podcast, I think we can all agree that's a very fitting choice, actually. Atena, we might end with a question we've discussed a lot, especially in our friend group at uni. Do you think love is unconditional or conditional? Conditional.
Yep.
Now, we've spoken about this in previous episodes of the podcast too. And if you've watched those, you know that my stance is heavily rooted in unconditional. Now, could you explain why you'd say conditional?
I would like to argue that it is conditional because if you have a partner that you want to be with for the rest of your life, you are going to go through with someone. You can't just choose someone that, that, like, yes, you enjoy their company. However, it has to be a little bit more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because my standards are high? Well and truly because of my boyfriend. He set them even higher than what they already were. However, if that is your plan to, get married and start a family with someone, you will go through so much together. Like, when you're in a relationship, maybe ask yourself, is this someone that I could, that can comfort me and be there for me when I will need to look after my parents when they're, when they're ill or elderly and they pass away? Can they stand next to me at a funeral like that? Sorry if this is really negative, but you can't just like base things on only giving. Like, I'm not saying that relationships, any form of relationships, need to be a transaction. It shouldn't. However,
but isn't this transactional type of relationship a conditional relationship?
I mean, that's true. But what I'm saying is, like, yes, I'd argue that relationships start as unconditional because when you have a crush on someone,
but wouldn't that be conditional? Maybe we've got the definition wrong. What do you think unconditional means, Atena? Have I mucked it up too?
I think conditions meaning, like, on the condition that you love me
Oh,
back.
yes. So you'd think that when a relationship starts, it's unconditional.
Well, they usually start that.
Because I see a relationship when it starts as conditional.
Right.
Especially in the first date, it's like, oh, was it good? Oh, he bought me this.
Yeah.
He gave me this.
I'm going even further back.
Oh,
when you
okay,
have a crush on someone.
Yeah.
Before you even
It is
tell them.
unconditional, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You try to be nice to them and, make them laugh and, all that sort of thing. And especially for guys courting their girlfriends, their partners, But yes, and then there's a point in time, and especially when you've been together with someone, that it becomes a condition. And I feel like even going into marriages, like, on the condition that you two sign this document that we are married, we can unite together as a family,
Yeah.
So that's where I'm sort of, that's where I have my
I understand.
stance.
That's a pretty unique sense. I feel like the way that you and me describe it are both very similar, but we take different stances.
Mm.
Because the way that I described it on a previous episode of the podcast, if you listen to that, episode 1 with Rahil, the conclusion we came to was that love is like a glass sphere, you can imagine it. And the sphere is layers. And the outside layer is your conditional love, which is like your honeymoon love. Like, oh, you got me this is so sweet. You got me this present. Oh, we're going out to this date together. You're driving me. That type of love. But when things get hard and you face challenges together, that outside layer is going to break down physically. Like, you're not going to do those things anymore. You're not going to hang out with them all the time. They're not going to buy you things. And when that breaks down, for a relationship to be strong, we need a base of an unconditional love, where it's like, I love you no matter what.
No, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change my mind, because that is very true. And, like, if anything, I would say that it's more, like, looking at a long-term relationship, it's very, like, maybe 30% unconditional and maybe 70% conditional. But, yeah, depending
But in
on,
no way do I think, like, your stance is, like a wrong stance. I think it's very well justified. Like, if it's conditional, it's going to be conditional because when you become married in a long-term relationship, you're like, oh, I need you to do this because I can't do it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the kids need this, I need you to do this. Oh, we need dinner, I need you to do this.
Yes.
It's a conditional transaction, right? That'll make me happy. If you don't do it, it'll make me mad.
Yeah.
It's very much conditional.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. Like, when it becomes a longer term relationship, it becomes more so conditional than unconditional.
Yes.
Which is it's a fair point to make.
Yeah. A little bit of a tangent, but something that you can do to sort of bring that unconditional love, because the way I look at it, and I 100% agree with your like opinion, I guess.
Yeah.
Your stance on it, like, and just reverting back to what I was saying before, is like when you have a crush on someone, and you know you're a guy courting a girl, like you get them flowers and chocolates and whatnot. You play on dates and things like that. Something that Alex and I are trying this year is something that we've, I guess, reflected on our past couple of years of being together, is that we spend a lot of time with each other, and I am fortunate enough to live with my partner, so we see each other every day. We go to sleep next to each other, you know, and it becomes sort of routinely, and it's not that we don't cherish or appreciate our moments together, we well and truly do. However, sometimes, especially when we're both at uni and we get busy, we, you know, your judgment is clouded, and you're like, you know, you start over analyzing everything, and you're like, damn, when was the last time I've got myself ready for a date, and we went and did something fun that we can both enjoy, rather than like, oh, but we did this last time, but I'm only doing this because unconditional, because I know that my partner likes it.
Yeah.
I hope that made sense. But what I'm saying is, something that we're trying out this year is, we got a jar, a $2 jar from Kmart, and we wrote down so many like date activities, whether they take an hour up to a day. So there's 2 different categories, and it just shows on the outside of a little piece of paper that gets like bunched up, and you put it in that jar. So if you are busy, obviously you're not going to spend.
So what were the categories? It was a date or
So every 2 weeks, for example, we will say, you know what, like, take turns on who takes out a little piece of paper from that jar. And there's 2 types of papers in that jar. There are papers that resemble dates that you can do for an hour and a half, 2 hours maximum, on your weekends, because that's where usually people have the most of their available time. And then there are also slits of paper that have a little bit of colour on the outside, like a little big heart or something, which take up, you know, a little bit more planning.
So it's like a date, but DAYTE.
Yeah. That's
what I tell my girlfriend. I'm like, okay, so we're going on a date, but it's a date. Like, I've planned it. I'm picking you up at 9. Like, we're going.
Yeah. It's all bunched up and everything, and you close them up so you can't really see what they have on the inside, and then you just take them out every fortnight or how often. It's completely up to you. And you know, they can be dates of as simple as, you know, laying out a picnic mat at like 11 p.m. at night and just literally staring up into the sky and just having deep meaningful conversations with your partner. Or it could literally be a day trip to going mini golfing or golf karting or something like golf karting. Wait, no.
Go karting.
Go-karting.
Yes. I think that's a really good idea, though. Like, making it not more of like, I want to do this because we haven't done it in a while. More of like, let's do something, and like both you making the active choice to do that thing. And
it's such a great way to include your partner. Yeah. Rather than just, you know, sometimes obviously it can be a little bit more imbalance of, you know, of who's literally more creative in coming up with new ideas for dates, or, you know, things that we've enjoyed in the past. So you can come together, make a list together, create it, and then take turns every now and then. And you can put it back, it's completely up to you. Like, you can choose a different one. and it's more intentional. That's what I really want
Yeah.
to focus on. It's more intentional spending time with each other rather than just, you know, watching a movie together, which is great, but, you know, when,
No, yeah, I
when it
completely
becomes
get it.
something that you do really on the daily, you know,
Mhm.
after, you know, taking a study break and after uni, you know, not that it loses its specialness, but it, you know, it just becomes like just as normal as waking up together. Waking up next to them in the morning, you know, so
Yeah.
it's more intentional, and I'm very excited, and he's also very happy to.
That sounds
you know,
great.
He's
Yeah.
like, oh, like the other day, he was like, oh, I'm so excited to like get this one.
Mhm. I would
like,
also be like,
people-
"Baby, I want this one, just this one."
Yeah.
Always hoping to get it.
yeah. So,
Atena, thank you so much for your insight on all these topics today.
thank you so much for having me, and I appreciate you guys for listening me ramble. I love to tangent, but I really appreciate not only my friendship with you, but
Mhm.
our group. Like, we could literally talk for hours.
So do I. And hopefully one day we'll have an episode with the veggies on the podcast. That'd be
so fun.
It'd be a great episode. Stay tuned for that.
Yes.
But Atena, before we wrap up the episode,
Yep.
we have a tradition on the podcast where each guest leaves a sentence or two of a story that happened to our quote-unquote podcast mascot, Pip. Now, Pip's a duck. Pip is a pink duck. Pip has 3 other brothers, but Pip is pink and his brothers are yellow, right? Now, a lot has happened to Pip, but
Yeah.
if you haven't been keeping up with the podcast, a quick summary is Pip didn't very stressed about him being a different color to his brothers, so he became emo and dyed his hair black. Now, Pip decided he wanted to become a pilot in the Duck Air Force, or he wanted to be a doctor, or he wanted to be a stripper. He wasn't really sure, right? It was a bit of a weird time for him. Pip then found a girlfriend called Duckette, and in our previous episode, Pip exited his emo phase, and Pip goes into the Duck Air Force. Good on him. But Pip's girlfriend joins a strip club, and Pip catches her cheating on him.
Ooh.
What happens next, Atena?
I think Pip. Is he a guy?
He's a guy.
Yeah. Sorry. Just checking. I think Pip is a strong person, and he saw that, you know what, if this person doesn't want me, I don't want them. So he wishes his best and says his farewells to Duckette.
Yes.
And he focuses on his time at the Duck Air Force, where he's been training for a year, and he's on holiday now.
Oh, so we got a time skip here.
Yeah.
Okay. So to recap, we have Pip wishes his girlfriend Duckette well and leaves her, and then Pip focuses his time in the Duck Air Force, training for a year, and now he's on holiday.
Yeah.
Good. A time skip is very interesting. Oh, the plot thickens. Atena, it was a pleasure having you on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. I hope to have Atena on
Wonderful.
again. Again, Atena does have her Instagram, her TikTok, Beauty with Atena. Give her a follow. Go check her out. She's amazing. She's awesome. She's on the podcast. Check her out. I don't know what else to say, honestly.
No, thank you so much for having me.
It was a pleasure, yes. And don't forget to check out at everything.etc.podcast on Instagram. Any feedback, hit us with a DM on the Instagram page or a comment. It was a pleasure to have you listening. We'll see you next week. Thank you.